A school is always a home that opens its door to welcome anyone in search for himself. It nurtures them through the hands of our noble heroes, and when these dreamers are ready to face the world, they leave for a bigger journey to life. And today marks another milestone as we celebrate a great achievement with delight, gratitude, excitement, and pride in its special occasion. This is the moment to witness the product of burning passion for education amidst the current situation of the world. It's time to highlight the efforts done by the learners with never-ending support and sacrifice from parents, friends, relatives, and teachers, as well as other stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the virtual moving up ceremony of Nueva National High School with the theme is strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
To begin with, let us all sing the national anthem, after which let's give praise and honor to the Almighty God through a doxology, followed by the singing of regional hymns, provincial march, and the Nueva National High School hymn.
Tumayo po tayong lahat, ilagay ang kanang kamay sa ating dibdib at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyang ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong mughaw, may hirap ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta mo ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Dakilang may likha sa kalingat pang-unawa, mangyari ang iyong diwa sa langit at sa lupa. Bigyan mo ng sapat ang lahat sa araw-araw, turo ang magparaya gaya ng iyong gawa. Iadyan niyo kami sa pagmamataas upang maiwaksi ang lupit at dahas, at samahang lumikha ng pamayanan payapa sa kalikasan, kabuhayan, kakanyahan, paniniwala. Yeah.
Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest of my heart to me. To other lands I wander, as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest of my heart to me. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest of my heart to me. Probinsya Abalwarte, Sarikep, Ketika, Ilocos, Inggit, Kasat, Kahilig, Pati Diyos, kinalaburan, at taong nakageta, ikilubog pagkidin na maagad, basta kikekat putihera, sila mutawan paningan. Nagpamaling na anak mo, di ba'y kustilken mapagtalkan, hindi turet di puso, kahagyat di puso adalan. Amin at kay kaysa, amanalak di pagkayaatan, dito sa bigyan kinamili, nagluwag bali na pagtamdan. Itaas sa klulunod, Ebalor, Manuel, Pagilian, Gawan, Antonio Luna, Ricarte, Agli, Pagyenablan, Temla, Tumapay naman, Justin, Escoda, anak mo at malalakatan, nagan mo rin kami waragawa, itiyamihan sa malubungan. Itaas ang lulunod, Ebalor, Manuel, Pagilian, Gawan, Antonio Luna, Ricarte, Agli, Pagyenablan, Temla, Tumapay naman, Justin, Escoda, anak mo at malalakatan, nagan mo rin kami waragawa, itiyamihan sa malubungan. Ilocos Norte, Tampok Pagyanan, Ikat ang Sika, Ilocos. Ilocos Norte, Tampok Pagyanan, Ikat ang Sika, Ilocos.
Dangdangay si dungilay, insinali dumay. Dangdangay si dungilay, insali-sali dumay. Nueva Era National High School, pagtansit ti kailukwan, kang runa na pagadalan, agtutubo ti pagilyan. Dangdangay si dungilay, insinali dumay. Dangdangay si dungilay, insali-sali dumay. Nangiwan-wan kultura't tingyan, napatag akaugal yan. Insuro dagiti kaapuan, gamang miya pagwadan.
musupapakan. Dangdang ay sidong nilay, insinali dumay. Dangdang ay sidong nilay, insali-sali dumay.
To welcome us all, let us give our undivided attention to Mark Joshua C. Amasi, grade 10 with high honors.
I take huge pleasure in welcoming you all to this very important occasion. Today, we witness the commemoration of the Nueva National High School's 2021 virtual moving up ceremony. This journey has been a roller coaster ride. However, this ride has definitely molded us to become our better selves. My fellow competitors, the entire school community is beyond proud of what we have achieved and what we have become. On behalf of Batch 2021, I would like to acknowledge our guest of honor and speaker, Mr. June A. Calon, our dedicated Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. John Corpus, and other deputy officials, our local government unit headed by Honorable Mayor Attorney Aldrin R. Garvida, and Honorable Vice Mayor Caroline Garvida, our committed school principal, Mrs. Marcelina Ciandres, Ma'am, our ever energetic and talented head teacher, Mr. Henry N. Langisan, Sir, the hardworking teaching and non-teaching force of the Nueva National High School. Likewise, we won't be where we are today without our parents and guardians who serve as our inspiration and strength. Last but not the least, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the Almighty God for not leaving us in the valley of darkness. It is a remarkable accomplishment for all of us to have made it here today, and I am very proud to share this moment with all of you. Let us take a moment to think about this 4-year journey we have embarked together. It has been filled with unending ups and downs, twists and turns, marked by countless challenges to overcome. Getting here was a bumpy ride, but all of those lessons, as well as these calls, pieces of advice, knowledge and guidance were worth the wait. Thanks be those of you who shared joy with us, combined with the values we had to develop as we were able to reach where we are now. To God be the glory. Fellow competitors, pause a little and think about all the times and all the things contributed in becoming who we are now. Let us give ourselves a pat in the back for the work well done. As we proceed into our virtual moving up ceremony, I can only say good luck and thank you to all the people who helped us. On behalf of grade 10 completers of school year 2020 to 2021, I welcome you all to the second virtual moving up ceremony of the Nueva National High School. Let us be proud that we have made it this far. Batch 2021, we have what it takes to be successful in life, and we should not let anyone tell us otherwise. Again, I welcome everyone here to witness the cultivation of our success. Thank you and God bless us all.
For the presentation of the candidates for completion, Ms. Marcelina C. Andres, the school principal, will do the honor, to be followed by the acceptance of confirmation by the school's division superintendent, Dr. Joan A. Corpus.
Good morning, everyone. Joan A. Corpus, EDD, CESUFI, Schools Division Superintendent of the Schools Division of Ilocos Norte, Madam. As the school principal of Nueva Era National High School, I have the honor to present to you the 122 candidates for moving up of the school year 2020-2021. of Nueva Era National High School. I certify that they have satisfactorily completed the requirements prescribed by the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education, Bureau of Secondary Education, the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan of the Normal of Education. I therefore petition for the confirmation of their moving up with all the rights, honors, and privileges thereto appertaining.
By the authority vested in me by the Secretary of Education as the Schools Division Superintendent of the Schools Division of Ilocos Norte, and acting on the certification of your school head that you have satisfactorily completed all the requirements of the K-12 curriculum, and upon the strong recommendation and petition of the Public Schools District Supervisor or Education Program Supervisor in charge of your school for the confirmation of your graduation or completion. I, Joanne A. Corpus, in my capacity as the Schools Division Superintendent, now confirm you graduates or completers for the school year 2020-2021 with all the rights, honors, privileges, as well as duties and obligations thereto appertaining. Starting today, you are eligible for admission to the next level of education. Congratulations and good luck. Respected local government officials, DepEd Division and school officials, Barangay and Parent Teachers Association officials, school heads, teachers, parents, stakeholders, learners, graduates and completers, guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day to one and all. My warmest congratulations to all the members of Batch 2021. This school year will always be considered as the most challenging period in the history of the Department of Education. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought challenges in all sectors around the world, and the field of education is no exemption. In order to provide and sustain our clarion call of promoting quality, relevant, and liberating education, despite all adversities we currently face, we have devised multiple ways so that learning still continues. We have experienced grueling transitions and birth pains, but we never surrendered because we are one team with one common dream. At first, the learning modalities that we have employed in the new normal have brought despair and destruction. But we have overcome this because of your dedication and determination. I feel delighted to congratulate you on this pivotal phase of your life. After several months of enduring the struggles brought about by the global crisis in the educative process, you are now ready to ignite the torch of excellence which you have earned through your incomparable patience and perseverance. Your teachers have provided you with the most fitting kind of instruction which you need as you continue your quest for the fulfillment of your dreams. I congratulate them for serving as game changers in the new education landscape. From ordinary facilitators inside your classrooms, they eagerly transform themselves as module writers, online teachers, teacher broadcasters, and radio announcers to cater your needs and interests while you are learning at home. I believe that every parent wants to invest the future of his or her children to the best school he or she knows. As such, my gratitude is offered to them because they have entrusted your early education to the school's division of Ilocos Norte. Our battle against COVID-19 became easier because they are always there to serve as your shield, shelter, and strength. My sincerest appreciation is also given to the provincial government of Ilocos Norte and all the benevolent stakeholders for their incomparable support to the programs, projects, and activities of the school's division. The strong partnerships and linkages that they have built with us serve as our instruments in combating the challenges caused by the pandemic. And this important milestone of your lives, please be reminded that the greatest rewards that you have are the values that you have obtained from the tales of trials that you've been through during the school year. Make these as sources of inspiration for you to do more and be more. I pray that the Lord will forever guide you as you step to the next round of the educational ladder. Always take the positive path and He will crown you with success that you truly deserve. To all of you, congratulations and good luck.
Good day to each and everyone who is attending virtually present at this time of our graduation ceremonies for our beloved and very precious graduates for the school year which ends at this time. First of all, I'd like to greet the parents and family members without whose sacrifices, whose reminders, and whose participation in the learning process for our graduates have resulted in this culmination program. This year, your role has changed drastically, where we've always thought, we've always believed that the matter of educating our children rests nearly exclusively on our teachers and our staff. This time, you parents, you family members, you who are in the households of our learners have expanded your role and contributed to this wonderful day wherein finally our learners are graduating in this culmination exercise. So congratulations, because this year has not been very easy, has not been a picnic for our teachers, for our family members, as well, especially the parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and all who have contributed to the achievement of our learners at this time. So, maraming salamat at congratulations, parents and family members. Mas malaki ang role ninyo at this time compared to earlier graduation exercises. Secondly, I would also like to greet our teachers, without whose very careful review and careful supervision of the work of our pupils and our learners, this event would not be taking place at all. And so thank you, teachers. Your role has also expanded, in addition to seeing to it that the modules are faithfully followed, the assignments are correctly implemented, and the learners are truly learning. And you have had to deal with new ways of assessing the performance also of the learners. So congratulations, teachers, for enduring, for your patience, for your love for our learners, and your willingness to engage in a way and methods of teaching which are different from those which are used to. Assessment must have been especially difficult for you, especially since you were not able to see most of the time our students in face-to-face meetings, and most of the meetings, of course, were virtual. We'd also like to thank the local government units for their interest, for their cooperation, and for their continuing contributions to the needs of education, even as our children do not go to school. Your donations of material as well as financial resources at this time are most welcome, and your advice has been taken seriously not only by our teachers, by our school officials, but also by our officials in the Department of Education. We continually talk with local government units, especially in times of disaster, in times of great need for classrooms, for space, and for responses to unforeseen emergencies. Thank you, local government units. But of course, most of the congratulatory greetings fall on the deserving graduate. Each and every one of you is truly special. You are different from the other graduates who have passed through the portals of your school. You went to school practically without seeing your teachers, if at all. You went to school with your parents, your mothers and your fathers hovering over your shoulders and seeing to it that you are able to complete your assignments. You are completing your studies at a time when examinations and assessments are different. You are culminating these long months of hard work at this time, even as you have to do family chores, even as you are distracted, and even as your world has turned upside down, and it seems and it appears as if we don't know what the future holds and what will happen next. But you have persevered, and now you are ready to graduate, and therefore you deserve each and every bit of congratulations, from us in the Department of Education, from your parents and family members, your teachers, from the officials in local government, as well as in the parent teachers associations. You deserve each and every single congratulatory pat on your back, each hug virtually, of course, and each greeting, which I am sure you are also receiving virtually. I don't know if you will remember this event many years from now. I have tried to recall myself who our graduation speaker was when I finished high school and when I finished my college studies. All I remember is that the graduation speaker was someone important, someone who was invited because that someone is supposed to give a message. What was more important to us graduates at that time was the excitement of the celebrations, the happiness and the joy of our parents, the sadness of parting from our classmates and from our teachers, and the enjoyment of all the graduation events that usually take place come commencement day. When I was a college student, we had a series of events which were designed to embed in our minds, which were designed to help us remember and not forget our days in college. We would spend one whole day going around the campus, visiting the classrooms, saying goodbye to our teachers, and sharing memories. We would have bonfires to say goodbye to each other. We had baccalaureate services where we committed ourselves to God and we prayed for guidance when we go out into the world. So many celebrations, and the speaker, of course, is the least important and easily forgotten component of the graduation exercise. Nonetheless, I will exert all efforts to share with you what I see are things or issues which a graduate should remember and recall. I have said that you are very special. You are very different. You are pioneering. There has been no other class like your class. There has been no other graduate like you as a graduating student, because you are the very first graduate of the blended learning response to education in the Philippines. And so you ask yourself, what awaits you in the world outside? You can either work, because the kind of curriculum you survive and underwent as a student will enable you to go to work if you wish to go to work. Some of you will proceed to further studies, and this would be a wonderful thing because there are many opportunities for further expanding your knowledge, for further answering and looking for explanations of issues, events that make you curious, especially in science, in technology, and also in the arts. So you can work, you can go to further studies, and perhaps some of you will settle down, hopefully not too soon, so you can pursue what you really want to do. So today, this is why we call this exercise a commencement exercise. It's not the end of our studies. It's not the end of all our efforts with blended learning, with modules, with floods, with earthquakes, and of course with COVID. It's a commencement of doors opening to you. More doors will be opened because you are a graduate. You can work, you can proceed for further studies, you can help your parents, and you can perhaps look for opportunities to do what you have always wanted to do, whether at work, whether at advanced studies, whether at learning more in science, in technology, in mathematics, and in the arts. All of these opportunities are available to you. More doors are being opened. I hope you will select the door which arouses your curiosity, the door which will help you know more about this world, and the door which will allow you to contribute to the development of our country and contribute whatever we can to solve our problems and our challenges. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Congratulations to you, parents and family members. Congratulations to you, teachers. When I was chair of the board of Silliman University, each time we had graduation ceremonies, during the baccalaureate and during commencement itself, I would cry. I would cry because you are sending out into the world a new batch of graduates, and we want to be sure that what is awaiting them is appropriate. We want to be sure that they are ready for what awaits them when they select which door to open. And so, we tell you, go out to the world, do whatever you want to do. God be with you, and be assured that all of us love each and every one of you. Congratulations.
To receive their awards, diplomas, and recognitions, ladies and gentlemen, let us have the class advisors as they present the graduates for the school year 2020-2021.
Alba Mark Vin P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Marcos Alba. Armida Daniel D. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Danilo Armida. Benito Albert Jr. S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Benito Sr. Cadalzo Aaron Josh S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronel Cadalzo. Corpus Hanswan Dave B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Severo Corpus. Falible Louis Kel C. Parent, Mrs. Florentina Falible. Gampong Mark Eric L. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Gampong. Lazaga Adrian Lester C. Guardian, Miss Quinjun Lazaga. Lubong Gerson P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gerardo Lubong. Macaburas Rafael M. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rodolfo Macaburas. Manglana Raza J. M. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Romel Manglana.
Moranas Elmer A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Elizer Moranas. Ramirez John Albert Deo B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. John Barry Ramirez. Rinian Jeff Mark Q. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jomar Rinian. Sagasa Grail John A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Sagasa. Tubadeza Adrian P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Donato Tubadeza. Valera Mark Leo P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Leonardo Valera. Villamayor Hazel John R. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. King John Villamayor. Adukal Princess Nushka B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rolly Adukal. Alibuyog April Rose C. with high honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Fredelito Alibuyog. Bala Daniela Jane M. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Danilo Bala. Balauro Lalaine Cara Sofia C. with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Agosto Balauro Jr. Basanyas Maria Francois Cassandra G. with honors. Guardian, Mrs. Priscilla Gudale. Basanyas Maria Ines G. Guardian, Mrs. Priscilla Gudale. Kabawig Crystal Faye M. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Kabawig. Canonizado Crizel Angel S. Parent, Miss Jennifer Canonizado. Dalmasio Menchi. Parent, Mrs. Minda Dalmasio. Domingo Kimberly A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Domingo Sr. Pabiliar Jamea Jane S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Noel Pabiliar. Galinato Shaina Grace J. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Galinato. Gorobat April Shaira M. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Armand Gorobat. Juan Jamaica. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Federico Juan. Lalugan Ropeza Naira C. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Petronilo Lalugan. Manuel Eliza Lorraine H. with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Malvert Manuel. Marcos May Ann O. with honors. Parent, Mrs. Mayet Marcos. Naing Clara May R. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Resty Naing. Pambid Jade Mary with honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jomar Layugan. Sakalamitaw Maria A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Noni Sakalamitaw. Tayawan Vanessa Joy P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Venli Tayawan. Volante Vanessa Jane D. with honors. Parent, Mr. Jonathan Volante. Agapay Julius R. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Provincial Agapay. Amasi Mark Joshua C. with high honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Renante Amasi. Bautista John Daniel G. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Albino Bautista. Bulasa Mark Anthony O. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Carlos Bulasa Jr. Kaingitan Romel P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Roberto Kaingitan. Evera Aldrin A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Rizalino Evera Jr. Gambol Arvin B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Armando Gambol. Inong John Paul A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Inong. Lubong Dave Lawrence B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Juanito Lubong. Macaburas Chrysler T. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Gregorio Macaburas. Manalang Rashid B. Guardians, Mr. and Mrs. Jose Baradi. Maranyon Rico L. Parent, Miss Josephine Lugo. Pedinho Ronron C. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Pelenia. Rebolio Gilbert B. With honors. Parent, Mrs. Elizabeth Rebolio. Rosqueta Jules Gabriel B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ismael Rosqueta Jr. Talon John Earl S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Francisco Talon. Valera Prince Travis A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Redentor Valera. Villanueva Chaiden Mark U. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Romel Villanueva. Acosta Mary Claire D. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Arlex Acosta. Alcoy Lionel K.T. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Alcoy. Badua Minette Casten Joy P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Michael Badua. Bala Glycita Gly A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Reynaldo Bala. Bangloy Christine Kate A. Parent, Miss Germaline Bangloy. Benito Elania Grace S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ernesto Benito Jr. Bragas Mary Kith B. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Elmer Bragas. Calube Vienna Rose T. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Roderick Calube. Crisostomo Shireen A. Parent, Mrs. Ophelia Crisostomo. Kurameng Angeline U. With honors. Parent, Mrs. Lornalyn Kurameng. Domingo Daryl B. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eric Domingo. Dumlao Eliza Jane G. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alex Dumlao. Galinato Nika M. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Peter Galinato. Gamet Jamaica Macy. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Vic Gamet. Lalugan Atasha Emma Hyacinth V. Guardian, Mrs. Rosalinda Lalugan. Luben Claire B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Romel Luben. Marcelino Jasmine Joy N. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Marcelino. Mariano Jesseline P. Parent, Mrs. Odessa Jane Mariano. Medrano Marian Jessamine. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Edgar Roland. Perez Kimberly May G. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Henry Perez. Sa Kalamitao Micaela Nicole Q. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Michael sa Kalamitao. Tapiador Jasmine P. With honors. Guardian, Mr. Melchor Sagun. Villanueva Athea May E. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Dexter Villanueva. Abukay John Kyle P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jonal Abukay. Alejandro Lawrence Vian A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Elpidio Alejandro. Amasi Jeric B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alfredo Amasi Jr. Bringas Christian V. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Edwin Bringas. Kaingitan Ronald Jr. H. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Kaingitan Sr. Castillo Mark Louis B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jaime Castillo. Flores Gian Russell E. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Zoilo Flores. Leanio John Michael A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Leanio. Macaburas Alges A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jessie Macaburas. Mahimer Jasper Kirby Sean C. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Michael Perfecto. Maloom Joras T. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Janicio Maloom. Natividad John Lloyd James S. Parent, Mrs. Rosita Natividad. Ramirez Mark Joseph. Parent, Ms. Lisa Ramirez. Roland Jeffrey G. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo Roland. Simon John Lloyd Hayes L. Parent, Mrs. Estrelita Simon. Taborada Irving Joshua A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jomel Taborada. Tabang Arturo Jr. T. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Arturo Tabang Sr. Abukay Liana May L. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Larry Abukay. Akas Rose Angela R. Parent, Mrs. Delia Akas. Agdepa Raina Jana C. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Agdepa. Armida Riza A. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Henry Armida. Austria Glyza Erica B. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. J. Michael Baldos. Bala Princess Dayan C. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin Bala Jr. Balauro Jessica D. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Mario Balauro. Benavides Lay C. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Christopher Benavides. Borja Nicole P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Borja. Kalaykay Riza Caitlin R. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Samson Kalaykay. Delara Princess P. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jackson Delara. Doronia Shane Rose S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Edwin Doronia. Doritan Ruby O. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Reynald Doritan. Galut Stephanie Y. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Cherry Galut. Juan Regeline R. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jeffrey Juan. Leon Alona Crizel G. With honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Leon. Marangen Jessica T. Parent, Mrs. Lourdes Marangen. Pasinal Sofia M. With high honors. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nilo Pasinal. Pasha Sheena May F. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ulysses Pasho. Rubiano Generos F. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Manuel Biano. Sinfuego Angelica G. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nestor Sinfuego. Tobias Cherry May S. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Manolito Tobias. Umadak Genevieve B. With honors. Parent, Mrs. Nueva Umadak. Yarsha Erica Joyce D. Parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eugene Yarsha.
In order to excel, one must be an achiever. Let's be all ears to April Grove C. Aliboyog, grade 10 completer with high honors for her academic excellence address.
Namalu awakas tay nga lisan. Today is not merely a day of academic triumph. Today, we celebrate as we finally pay off our parents, guardians, not to mention even our siblings and relatives who have been with us along our journey. Before I start my speech, on behalf of the completers of Batch 2021, I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude to those selfless individuals. To our most respected guest of honored speaker, Mr. Netel June A. Calon, our committed municipal officials, headed by Honorable Attorney Aldrin R. Garvida and Honorable Caroline Garvida, our untiring and proficient faculty members, headed by our outstanding school heads, Mrs. Marcelina C. Andres and Mr. Henry N. Langisan. Dear parents, fellow completers, ladies and gentlemen, A blissful and happiest afternoon to all. This year has been like no other, and while we can think of multitudes of wasted opportunities and unrealized plans taken away by this pandemic, I still believe that it is essential to honor and appreciate the small successes we make while keeping our heads up in hopes of a better tomorrow. Being hopeful reminds us that we are not entirely helpless against the situation we face. Kastay pagsasoon ni Ma'am Rowena Corpus nga, nasaya at tiagbyag numawatang dagiti panbanag. Our strength lies deep within ourselves, and it can always translate into something extremely beautiful. Our experiences in school have not only instilled us to have the bravery to endure the difficulties or struggles we face, but also to never feel hopeless, because every cloud has a silver lining, and that silver lining makes itself present in our very own soul, in the tender faces of the people we love, and even in the helpful hands of a beautiful stranger. As we move on to a brand new stage of our academic life, we would like to extend our warmest gratitude to the following people to whom we credit our betterment and success. Kadagiti managayat nga nanang kentatang tayo, aglalo kadagiti naganak ko. We may not express the words thank you every day and every time you are giving us a favor, but today we are taking this opportunity to remind you that we are always thankful to you. Da kayo tiregta ken inspirasyon mi, tapno igaid mi iti manggunod kadagiti arapaap mi. Kadagiti ang kakasirib a memestra ken memestro mi, napalaos iti panagyaman mi kadagiti sakripisyo, panagayat, ken tinaanos yu kada kami. You are not only our mentors inside the classroom, but also our supporters and source of encouragements. Learning by our own would be very difficult, but your existence makes learning easier and more fun. To the school administrators, we sincerely thank you for your management and hospitality, for your enthusiasm in providing us excellent education and experiences. To our relatives who are also part of our achievement, we also thank you for your never-ending support. To this institution, our stay in our beloved school provides a strong foundation of our knowledge as we continue our journey in education. Thank you very much. To my fellow completers, I also thank you for all the memories and friendship. Our moving up today is only the first step in reaching our dreams. Let us continue to climb the stairs of education until we can finally reach the pinnacle of success. Let us put into our minds that we can, so we will do what we can to reach our aspiration. When narigan iti agdama nga sitwasyon tayo ita, ngem kasapulan tayo nga liwliwaen ti pagpagitayo. Sa panahong ito, ang bawal na salita ay ang mga salitang hindi ko nakaya. God, who has never left our side and helped us open our hearts and minds to every lesson we need to learn. This might be the conclusion of our junior high school life, but this marks the beginning of so much more. Our alma mater and the people we have met there will always be with us as we write more chapters of our lives. All the people we have bonded with and all the lessons we learned will always be a part of our past, present, and future, a piece of our being. Have faith and trust in Him that we would be led to where we should be, at the right place and at the right time. Let us pray for the grace to bloom wherever we are planted. Sakbay kuman nga rod ni ilipas daytoy na ited kanyak agundaway, kaya't kuman ti mangibati ti maysa nga pagsasao nga naggapo ken ni Miguel Guerrero. Pwedeng umiyak, pwedeng masaktan, pero laging niyong tandaan, bawal sumuko. Completers of Batch 2021, congratulations! Thank you very much. May God bless us all.
One great way to learn how to succeed is to listen how other people did it and follow their leads. So today, let's get a chance of meeting our guest of honor and speaker whose career path has risen at the top of his field. I welcome you then in an exclusive unfolding of his journey because I believe we are more than happy to talk about how he got success. Our very prolific guest speaker is a graduate of our own Nueva Era National High School and awarded a second honorable mention. He graduated elementary as salutatorian at Sacritan Elementary School, Pinili, Ilocos Norte, and took his tertiary education at Mariano Marcos State University College of Engineering, Batac City from 2008 to 2011 and transferred to Northwestern University College of Engineering, Architecture and Technology, Lawag City from 2011 to 2014, where he graduated with a degree Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. From the humble home owned by his parents, Mr. Anselmo L. Calon Jr. and Mrs. Nicetas A. Calon at Barangay Sacritan, Pinili, Ilocos Norte, he grew up to be an invisible man who touches the lives of others with full heart. A man full of modesty and wisdom, he successfully hurdled the Board of Civil Engineering given by the Philippine Professional Regulation Commission last May 13, 2015. Nothing really beats the wisdom of someone with experience. Thus, our guest speaker started his career through the rough patches, considering the long distance of home to school. But with the full support of his family, friends, and relatives, he was motivated to keep putting his one foot in front of the other, from dreams to passions to plans and into actions. His portfolio of professional development and training is fascinating as each experience gives life to his being a man of great sense of commitment, hard work, and passion. At present, he works as the office engineer at AB Thailand Construction and Development located at Airport Avenue, Barangay Butong, Lawag City, Ilocos Norte. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to present to you Engineer Netel June A. Calon, alumnus of Batch 2007. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, ma'am. To our very energetic and gorgeous principal, Mrs. Marcelina C. Andres, ma'am. To our supportive and handsome Mayor, Honorable Aldrin Garbida, sir. To our PTA officials, headed by Honorable Caroline Garbida, ma'am. To all our teachers and my former advisors. To all the graduates, my dear students, proud parents, other guests, to all the viewers, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant day to each and everyone. Agyaman na tanikanak ti gundaway, na nagsubli ditoy ininguten tayo nga eskwela, my beloved alma mater, Nueva Era National High School, akas mesa agas of honor and speaker, iti daytoy akanito intayo celebraran ti pinagturpos dagiti ubing tayo iti senior high school ken kastamet dagiti junior high school ta ituloy dan tumanen ti sumarno atukad ti pinagadalda. Ti tema daytoy virtual graduation and moving up ceremony, kalidad ng edukasyon lalong patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya or strengthening the quality of education amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Ti edukasyon ket mesa agameng hantupulos mapukaw. Isu daytoy ti mesa a pasaporteyo tapno magunudyo ti anyaman a arapa apyu iti biag. Addaman mapaspasarantay a pandemya ita the COVID-19 pandemic. Agtultuloy latta ti pinangisursuro dagiti memestra ken memestroyo tapno lang maitadda tinapintas a kalidad ti edukasyon. Adu arigat ken sakripisyo dagiti teachers yu tapno lang may pasagapsep kanyayo. Analaing dagiti leksyon babaen iti online classes or dagiti modules amay ited kanyayo. Narigat man para kanyayo ay estudyante ti kastoy a sitwasyon, tayhaan a face-to-face class ng still na pagtagumpayan ninyo. You made it. During your online classes, I'm sure, naranasan ninyo na may nag-pop up na no internet connections sa mga computers, tablets, or cellphones. Ang hirap, diba? But never stop dreaming. No matter how hard the situation is, with your determination, commitment, I know you can pursue your dreams. During my college days, napadasak met tihaan ang nakapasa kadagiti examinations mi. Napadasak pa'y tinabagsak kadagiti daduma a subjects ko. Tay naminduam lang a ruden nga inuliten ngem haan kantupel lang makapasa. Nagrigat, nagsakit a panunuten, ngem kasta lang talaga parte amin ti pinagadal deta. During that time, kaya't kukuman ti agship iti sabali a kurso, ngem babaen iti advices ken words of wisdoms nga impasagepsep dagiti pamilya. Intultuloy ko latta ti kurso a civil engineering, aging gaan nakaturpusnak di Northwestern University, batch 2014. Iti innem atawen ko ti kolehyo, adu apuyat, sakripisyo, anapasarak, tapno lang makapagturpusnak. Babaen ti tulong dagiti naganak kanyak, dagiti kakabsat ko ken dagiti antimi, morally, spiritually, and financially as well. Tas idi mo na at take ko ti board examination, haan ko man na ipasan. Ngimintultuloy ko latta ti nag-review. Kaasin apo, daydi may kadwa, daydi may kapamindwag a board exam, ket na ipasakon. Amin arigat ken sakripisyo ket nasubadan ti ragsak ken panagyaman. Tanatong palmet lang ti kari kada parents ko agbalinnak a mesa a engineer. Kanyaman a panlubok a dumteng ti biag. Kanayon tay ko ikarkararag ken ni Apo tayo a Jesucristo. At di na tay baybayan. Pursuing your dreams, whatever obstacles may come throughout your journey, you have to face it, and you have to overcome it, or make a solution and find a solution in every problem you're dealing with. We are only a human being who commits mistakes, but we are also the one who correct those mistakes. To the completers, continue soar high, never give up on your dreams, and start believing in yourself that you can do it. To the graduates, graduation is just only a word, but it's a fulfillment to everyone who made it. Yes, this is your last day in this institution, but the memories and lessons you've learned throughout the years of your stay will last forever. The bonding between you and your friends, between you and your teachers are unconditional. I would like also to take this opportunity to thank you to all the teachers who molded me and teach me during my school days, to my family who always supporting me and inspiring me to continue dealing our everyday lives, to all my friends and best friends who are always there in any situation, and to my workplace, AB Thailand Construction and Development and AJ Thailand Construction Corporation, especially to my boss who I am working with right now for more than 5 years. Thank you for the good environment and the good camaraderie. For now, your parents and teachers are very proud of you. So may I take this opportunity to please give them a big hug and a big kiss as a simple reward for the hardships and sacrifices just to fulfill your dreams in life. Before I end my speech, I just want to congratulate everybody, the batch 2021 graduates, the junior and senior high school students, the achievers and the non-achievers, the proud parents and guardians, all officials and staff, And lastly, to all our teachers for making another year of success. Once again, congratulations. Thank you and God bless us all.
Thank you so much for the great inspiration, engineer.
We might not be walking across that stage with the cameras flashing. They've been waiting on our day. It's been a journey, hasn't it? I wouldn't trade a moment. No, I wouldn't change a moment. I'm who I am because of you. Whether we've known each other our whole life or just a year or two. And I'm grateful for the time we put in, getting us to this moment, so we could get to this moment. We may not be throwing our caps in the air, but our spirit will rise anywhere. Remember our hallways filled with memories and friends. I wouldn't trade a moment. No, I wouldn't change a moment. I'm who I am because of you. Whether we've known each other our whole life or just a year or two. And I'm grateful for the good and hard times we've had. They'll get us through life's moments. Yeah, they'll get us through life's moments. Ooh. If you're over there feeling a little scared about your brand new start, don't get discouraged. Keep showing your courage, 'cause that's who we are. I'm who I am because of you. Whether we've known each other our whole life or just a year or two. And I'm grateful for the times we'll never forget, so we can be in this moment, right here in this moment. I'm grateful for our new beginnings, right here in this moment.
To add more color to this occasion, Sophia M. Pasino, grade 10 completer with high honors, will now deliver her closing remarks.
To our most esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Neville June A. Calon, our municipal officials headed by our very supportive and active Mayor, Honorable Attorney Aldrin R. Garvida, and Vice Mayor Honorable Caroline A. Garvida, our brilliant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Joan Corpus, and other DepEd officials, our excellent Principal 2, Mrs. Marcelina C. Andres, our very proficient Head Teacher 1, Mr. Henry N. Langisan, our committed faculty and other staff, dear parents, fellow completers, other guests and friends, a splendid day to all. We may be celebrating this special occasion not the usual way, but our hearts are filled with gratitude and pleasure. We may not feel and witness the actual scenario of a real moving up ceremony as we receive our certificates and medals, but we are still blessed that we can go over and over again to this moment. What matters most now is we are able to finish junior high school at the right time amidst the pandemic. We study because we need to equip ourselves with knowledge, to improve our skills, and to discover what we can do considering good manners. Yes, we must learn and learn how to love learning. Through the help of whom we are thankful for, we were able to reach the prize of being an achiever. We are indeed grateful to them. Our certificates will surely give continuous inspiration to aim and to achieve higher, and soon give pride to our alma mater. Passing grade should not be a learner's objective. A learner's target is to be a good student. Let us be persistent. Let us be brave and diligent. Let us have burning passion and eagerness in learning. Let us try to visualize what future is. We must remember that an achievement starts with a goal. Thus, there is no achievement if there is no goal. Likewise, in order to go up, one must take the first step. On behalf of my fellow completers, we thank the abundant support from our parents and guardians throughout the time. Thank you also to our municipal officials and the very patient module distributors and retrievers from the different situs, rain or shine. To our school administrators for making sure of the best plans and for its implementation for our welfare. And of course, our dear and virtuous teachers, your hard works and efforts are indeed manifestation of love and heroism. To all our teachers from grade 7 to grade 10, please know that we always cherish you in our lives. We are always grateful to you and we are bringing the lessons you taught us. Not just academically, but also the lessons in real life that you unselfishly imparted as we step into the next level of education. We owe you and forever owe you for your incomparable sacrifices in the name of education. Without you as our strong pillar, we won't be this strong and diligent in our studies. Again, to all who dedicated their precious time and efforts for our success, we are very grateful to you. Thank you and God bless.